at work and I'll be like, yo, fellas, you keep going. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta chill. I
Yo,
gotta get
I'm,
myself
I'm
together.
asking I'm asking the question if he going live and here to hit the button. No intro, no nothing,
Hey,
whatever.
we're gonna do an intro. We can do late intros. We late.
Whatever. This is the ultimate freestyle, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
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 Shoot. Well, yeah, this is the behind the scenes talk, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
even still behind the scenes because nobody on yet.
We was talking about 3 o'clock in the morning. Where was you at again? Sweden?
Yeah. Sweden and Copenhagen.
Yeah, I was gonna say it probably wouldn't be a bad idea for like if when the times work out right for you to go live from there, like when you traveling. I mean, everybody I'm sure would like a little
Yeah, so
VR.
you could, yeah, definitely, so you could see it. And
People like saying they like to live
Was you in
vicariously.
that mall? Did you go to that mall before that mess happened, or you just was in the same area?
nah, yeah, nah, I didn't go to, I ain't do no malls and everything, but you know, it's just, yo, it's just very interesting, man. Yo, I'm gonna tell you, like, so we was talking, like, does the universe give you signs, right? Now, let me show you how crazy this is. So I was trying to figure this out.
Wait, don't be
So
saying nothing crazy, man. Mom, I'm about to travel tomorrow, man. So don't come
nah,
up.
look, oh, stop, don't be.
What's
No, because
going
these
on?
ain't your signs. These ain't for you. These ain't your
All right,
signs.
I
It's,
guess it's on you.
yo, so look.
What's that
So
movie? Because he about to bring up some what's that movie with all that tragic stuff that happened like
Final Destination.
Final, yeah,
yeah,
he talking like Final
nah,
Destination.
nah, but nah, I'm nah, but look. So check this. So the three trips I had between June and July was Toronto, which the route took me through Buffalo, where the shooting occurred in Buffalo. Then it was Copenhagen. The day after I left, they had the shooting out there. And then in like 2 weeks, I'm going to Oslo, where in the beginning of June they had a shooting out there. Dude shot and killed two people during the gay pride parade, right? Or what they was doing. So I was like, damn, the three trips that I had take me through routes or take me somewhere where there's been these mass shootings, right? So I'm sitting over there in the hotel, yo, and this is crazy. So I'm channel surfing, and I come up to National Geographics, and the freaking episode the episodes in National Geographic in English was literally about planes, kid, and showing like how they investigate like plane crashes and everything, right? And I was sitting there and I was like, yo, damn, man, is the universe trying to tell me something, man? You know what I'm saying? I'm watching a show on investigating plane crashes. I'm going to places where they got these shootings going on. I was like, yo, man, I wonder if this what people means like the universe is trying to tell you something. No, but
I don't
it ain't
know.
gonna stop me.
Here's a question: you believe in fate? You believe in a predefined whatever?
Yo, yo, you know what, man? I mean, I don't know if it was written or not already, the destiny, I mean, because people talk about life-changing moments, but like, okay, say you go out your house, you get into a car accident, that's a serious car accident, that's a life-changing moment. But when did the life-changing moment initiate? Did it initiate at the actual accident? Does it initiate the moment you walked out the door to the car? Like, what is the events that set the life-changing, you know, events in the motion? Like, where's the actual start point of what becomes a life changing event? You know what I mean? So, and then if you knew it, would you have done something different? Like, obviously, I mean, people would probably say, well, yo, if I knew I was going to get on a plane and it was going to crash, I wouldn't have got on the plane. You know what I'm saying? But so I don't know, man, if it's written or not, but I'm gonna just keep trying to live my life, man, and enjoy my life. And, I don't know.
What's going on, Ron? Regine, Galabia, Sav, what's good? Galabia wrote, their laws are so different from our issues, or maybe it's the same and we can't handle it. International issues American can't handle. Americans can't handle. That was something earlier you said.
Was it I saw somebody just mentioned something about thanks about bringing attention to the guns. Was
Lady.
that
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yo, I still can't. It's I guess nothing surprises nowadays, but it's still a little shocking. I don't want to say shocking, but it's a little surprising to see how they changed like the New York gun laws, like right after the shooting in New York, and like even with the concealed what do you call it, license to conceal license permit changes and stuff like that, and then
Well, being able to carry the gun out in public.
well, a concealed carry, I think, is like the primary thing. That's
No, but what they shot down was New York. It was basically like you couldn't really carry it in public. You could own it, but you just couldn't really carry it in public. So they shot it down as saying like not allowing the people to or restricting them from being able to carry it in public was a violation of the amendments, their rights
oh
to
okay,
carry.
so yeah.
Yeah. But New York State is setting them dudes up to lose their guns. Watch. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, no lie, kid, because so New York already went into special legislation and they have listed so many places where you still can't carry your gun. So you can't carry it like hospitals, you can't carry it at schools, you can't carry it in playgrounds, you can't carry this. And then they even put a provision in there that you can't carry it on blocks that are within a certain thing.
Send it, yeah.
And so now you want to be this Rambo and you get caught with your legal gun, but you violate those things, it's a Class E felony. Now you're convicted of a Class E felony. Guess what? You lose automatically. You lose your right to have a gun for the rest of your life. And that's one thing I don't agree with is that, like, if you're gonna allow the Second Amendment to stand, and a person gets convicted of a marijuana felony that didn't involve violence when they was 18 years old, they are literally barred from owning a gun for the rest of their life. They lose their Second Amendment rights for the rest of their life. And unless you could get a certificate of relief or some type of certificate of good conduct that could start restoring some of your rights as far as it pertains to guns. You know what I'm saying? And I know the gun rights can be restored, but that's what I'm saying. Like there's a process to go through it, and it's almost impossible to get your gun rights restored. But I personally feel that they need to, they talking about relooking at a bunch of, Clarence Thomas come out there with all of this relooking over cases and everything. Yo, they need to relook at the Second Amendment, kid. And I'm not saying repeal it, but they need to put something needs to be done, man, and just a blanket ownership. Yo, I read the other day they said there's about 390 million guns in America. How can a society that's walking around with that many guns not be dangerous, kid? And this narrative that is just the criminals with the guns, we know that narrative is not real, kid. We watch legal gun owners commit criminal acts. It's not just a criminal with an illegally purchased gun. These are legally purchased guns that we're watching this, man, and we're watching it on a daily basis. And it's really, and the part about it is the first part of the Second Amendment when they talk about the militia, that key point is never brought up when people are talking about the Second Amendment. And I'm not saying the solution is to just take everybody's guns. I don't want to say that, but what I'm saying is that okay. Because for all the arguments, none of these guns are being used for what people are arguing them for. They're not protecting you from your government. Whose guns are protecting them from the American government? Whose guns is protecting them from the American government doing whatever the hell they want to do to them? Whose? I mean, people try to make that argument. Yeah, you want to hole up in Waco, Texas until they get tired of playing with you and just bomb your compound. You and all your 300 guns could die in a bomb from an airplane. You know, you don't got surface to air missiles. You ain't shooting down the American U.S. Air Force. So, like, it ain't protecting you from your government, kid. The only thing it's doing is it's killing citizens. What, like, seriously, like, what, all of those arguments people make, I mean, at some point they starting to sound ridiculous because and I understand why black people feel they need to be armed. Don't get me wrong. But when you look at that, who are they really using the guns against? And what are they really being used for? What are they really being used for? How many people you know with guns is out there challenging the American government system and the way it's treating us? Not just treating black people, but treating its citizens.
What you mean, like the January 6th people?
Yeah, like anything. Yeah.
You mean like those militias that are training in certain parts of North Carolina and Virginia and South Carolina?
You think that they're gonna defeat the American government?
I don't think it's ever about defeat. I think it's about what people are willing to do consciously to change things collectively. So it's not about defeat. It's not about defeat. I mean,
well, yo, when you come at me with a gun,
end of the day,
what discussion are we having after that point?
Okay, but that's not my point. That's your point.
What you mean?
Say again?
No, I'm saying, what does he mean by he said when you come? You saying when somebody approaches you with a gun, like what kind of conversation you having? Like what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, yo, they train and they could do all of this stuff, but where's it really? Where's it really getting them though?
Yeah, it's not. Well, it's we see what it's getting them. They're not getting in trouble in the way that they should.
I mean,
they're not going to jail the way that they should. But what they're still doing, that they've been doing since the beginning of time, is inspiring other individuals who think like them to act like them. And ultimately, I mean, I feel you on, when you said the surface to air missiles, but then the whole thing that was going through my brain is, the real war that's really being fought has nothing to do with the weapons, but everything to do with who's controlling the weapons, everything to do with cyber crime, cyber technology. I mean, ultimately, you can have a drone and, they could take it over, they could turn it against you. So it's always been a multifaceted approach, in my opinion, to change. But, I was on my page the other day talking to a brother because, he saw what we saw, unfortunately, what we're following as far as what just happened with, the young man, Jalen. And he pretty much was on it like, because he's from the islands. He's pretty much saying to us, like, what are y'all doing? Like, y'all just letting this happen. I'm saying, no. Any answer you give is going to be tied to us and our lack of cohesion, whether that's politically, socioeconomically, economically, or violence. But I believe that all across the board is you gotta multitask. And it's not that we can't multitask, man. This system has got us right where it wants us. It keeps us perpetually doing what we're doing instead of like finding collective ways to just figure some things out. One thing, Charles, that I'm gonna say that you and my father, y'all both push is like policy. And now I'm starting to understand it more. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can honestly say, yo, Charles, like I'm getting it. But then it's like, okay, if we're looking at policy, then we have to look at the behavior of the people who are going to be doing the voting and not doing the voting, whatever. We can talk all day to the blue in the face. But this thing, the way it's going, it's not going to fly. And we have seen historically in history that we always seem to be the ones that we catch it. We catch it. You know what I mean? We catch it. Hell, I would rather be prepared in some way, shape, or form to protect myself than to not. That's just me. That's just me. in some way, shape, or form. I'm not a big guy. I'm just a tall guy.
You said protect yourself from what?
Just to protect myself, period. Protect myself, period. You know, I wrote, y'all know I was a songwriter and producer and all of this stuff, and I did it for a long time. And when you send the copyright off, you're sending it to protect that, basically that intellectual property, that song. When I think of policy, I sort of look at it from a musical perspective. Well, what policies can apply to me that will protect me in the same way? So that's sort of my way of sort of looking at it in the way I look at things, because for so long, I didn't deal with the political system at all. I didn't care for politics. And I was a very novice person. But with that being said, I do see the game that was played. And I do see that Trump's greatest accomplishment, actually, it happened. We saw it with Roe versus Wade.
Yeah,
he stacked those federal courts.
With this whole thing, like,
he stacked those federal courts. And meanwhile, we up here, I don't want to vote for this one. I don't like Obama. I don't like Trump. Meanwhile, he had his agenda and he succeeded at what he was trying to do. But ultimately, all I'm saying is to my people and people who think or are alikes or whatever, like, something has got to give. Something's got, we have to do something. Like, what are we willing to do? We always talk about the elders and the ancestors and stuff, but at least they had the courage to do something collectively. And I understand they were integrated. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, segregated, and then they went to being integrated. I get that. But we got all these lessons, and we still just sitting up here having 1,000 different conversations. There's 1,000 podcasts. There's 1,000. But what are we really accomplishing? And
but you see it. But you see it every day with the thing.
I don't know what's going to happen with The Boys. Y'all, do either one of you watch The Boys?
Mm-hmm.
The Boys. Either one of you watch The Boys on Amazon Prime?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I can't even have this conversation with you. Well, in a nutshell, okay, Superman on The Boys is crazy.
Wait,
literally, like, just imagine
Superman on The Boys. What the hell is this?
I'm not explaining. I know it sounds weird. I know I'm sounding weird, and I'm going to get to some of these comments.
There's a pause in there somewhere.
Okay, on The Boy. Okay, imagine right now Superman that we know, the Superman that we grew up with. Imagine if he was diabolical, crazy, and a serial killer, but everybody thought he was just a good guy. That's what The Boys is. The superheroes on that thing are like gangster, crazy, backwards, but it's such a representation of what we see, except the superpowers. So in a nutshell, for the guy that's like Superman, his name is Homelander, I'm just curious what's going to happen, but it's regular people as well as good superheroes that are working together to make a change. So I know I'm sounding a little cosmic, I get it, but ultimately we're not doing enough, in my opinion. I don't think we're ever doing enough, in my opinion. So I didn't mean to be long-winded. I mean, I know we got some comments. Who was about to say, Michael, Charles? But
what the hell was I saying before? When Charles was saying before about the whole Second Amendment thing, he was saying, like, the whole purpose was it to, with the purpose of forming a militia to make sure, the government stays in line or whatever. But like, we all know, like, as you said, if there's any problem with the government, like, no gun or even assault weapon is dealing with any battle of the government kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like you said, what are we shooting off missiles or whatever? Like, nah. So like the obvious and real reason why everybody does it today is, like you said, for like self-protection kind of thing. Like when everything was going down with this COVID stuff and this economy getting all screwed up, everybody's running to pick up guns and stuff like that to be like, yo, nobody's taking what I got kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, and every other day, anybody who lives along the border of Mexico and wherever else, like, yo, they making sure they gun carrying, thinking about somebody, that's something we heard throughout the whole Trump presidency and and ongoing too. I don't want to pin it down just to Trump, but that somebody's coming over the border taking what you got kind of thing, whether it's a job or trying to break into your house or come on your property or whatever. So arm yourself, you know what I mean? So that's.
But then at the end of the day, right, this is my thing. And I'm not I got mixed opinions on it at all. But everybody talking about black folks arming themselves, cool. Talking about getting these guns for the government, cool. Then what are you waiting for, man? The war is already at your front door. They just shot a dude 60 times, kid.
That ain't it, Charles. That's not it.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's
so what are these guns
that's
really
an
being
angry
used for?
response. That's
What
an
are they being used
response.
for, kid? Yo, you watching us get slaughtered.
Yeah, but okay. But,
Who's responding to that?
people have responded to that.
What, with marches?
No, not with marches. There are people who have definitely responded to that, and they
Come
got
on,
blown up.
man. Like,
fucking
yo,
profit.
we are not using.
What I'm saying to you is
We are not using these guns
that is not that's
to defend ourselves against the police, a corrupt government, or nothing. Everyone is saying it, and I get it. But it's
if you get it,
yo,
then you understand.
listen to this though.
why it's
How many black dudes? So the war is already with us. Like, this ain't new treatment to us, right? How many black dudes you watch get slaughtered by guns, by the police, by the government, that everybody's stacking these guns up to fight against when they bring this war to us?
That's not everybody's.
Where is the fight back then? That's what I'm asking you.
Wait, let them jump in and say his piece.
People are stacking the guns up because it's their right to be able to protect themselves. You keep saying government as if there's not 1,000 other things that you might have to protect yourself from. On top of that, we talking technically what government is. Government's supposed to be of the people and by the people, correct? If I'm not mistaken, if I'm in theory. So we talking about who, for the longest time, has been able to pay for their votes and get who they want in to represent them. And all I'm saying is, if the system is rigged and you know it, then you have to come in with a collective way of thinking to work. You still have to do the work. Like, otherwise, I'm not gonna say you fool, but it doesn't take away from the fact that you still have to do the work. And we have to be able to multitask. I've always said multitask. I've always said economics. The lessons are there.
But are you I'm asking the question because I don't know for sure. Like, are you answering Charles's specific question? He's like saying, yo, the whole thing is with guns, yo, people are dying from it. If you're talking guns, okay, you got access to guns. Like, they're killing people in front of you. Nobody's doing nothing about it. So is your answer saying, yo, there's multi-level ways of, it's politics, money, this and this, not just guns? Is that
the same thing I've been saying since the very first day we went live? And I just said it a second ago. It is a multifaceted approach. Too many times with people, not just black people, we forget that we have the ability to multitask. But no matter, huh? What you gonna say?
No, he just said yes. He said yes.
No, I said, yeah, I agree that it's multifaceted.
Multitask, but all I'm saying is, what I was really saying to Charles, because there was a few different points he was making, but the main thing I was saying to Charles was, like, for some of us, it ain't got nothing to do with the government. Like, literally, it's not like arming up and then you got some damn Navy SEALs outside your house. You ain't even want to see it coming. Straight up. And if you really want to know how some of these people fight, they're not fighting with guns. They got crossbows. They got crossbows that can shoot almost 2 miles. Fact.
They got crossbows that can shoot 2 miles. I ain't never heard nothing like that.
They got literally crossbows. Well, about a mile and a half. Yeah, it's like a mile. Google.
I mean,
I know somebody that got these long range crossbows, and his thing is he's got guns. But I'm gonna tell you, when the pandemic first jumped off, and I went to go buy one of my guns. I'm not a gun owner. I went to go look at guns. Bottom line was, homie was like, "Yo, that's cool, but check this out. He's pulling the crossbow thing. This is where it's at. By the time they come around the corner, he's giving yards and distance and all this other stuff. They won't even hear it, and they're dead. So to Charles's point, and I want to say this. I think it's always been an ill-advised discussion to say to people, just people, yo, go out there in the middle of the streets and just bust your gun. That ain't it. Because that's not what anybody's doing. That's not what's happening even with the militia folk. You have to look
Oh,
at
I mean, people are clearly going out in the street and busting their guns. It's a
I mean,
matter
let me
of who
finish.
they're busting it
No,
against.
put it in the context of what I'm talking. Don't flip it, Charles. I'm
I'm
talking
telling you, there
specifically.
are all
I'm talking
groups of
about
people.
people going outside and busting their
Okay.
guns at the government. You was talking about the government. We know that people are killing. We understand proximity violence. I don't want it to get twisted.
No, but we're not even just talking about in the hood, kid. We talking about all over.
I said proximity violence. I never mentioned hood. You
Yeah,
mentioned
I
hood.
mean, that's what he's saying.
I didn't mention hood. I said proximity violence. That could be rich people die in Beverly Hills. I mean, like guns are everywhere. Violent. This whole society was shaped on violence. There's no way around it. We know it because we know what violence is. This whole society is shaped on it, but now we're trying to tell a society that's been molded by violence, a society that's been going into other countries and doing all kinds of things and taking the heads off of leadership and all kinds of stuff. No, don't be violent. But then you want to tell the citizens not to arm themselves. Listen, man, listen, man. I got a K-bar, I got pepper gel, I got shanks, I got all of that stuff. It's not because I want
No, I'm not. It ain't even about telling the citizens.
But if
It ain't
a
about
dog
telling
is
the citizens
chasing,
to arm themselves. I'm saying that everything I hear about with the guns and their
Oh, wait,
purposes.
I'm sorry. I just want to interrupt. I don't know who advanced it, but somebody had a nice long comment 2 steps before. There was Christina who commented. She said, hello, Christina. And somebody, I just thought we should read that at some point. But
which one? The Alonzo's big bro.
No, I think it was this one. But I finished saying what you were saying, Charles. I didn't want you to keep on.
Well, I'll pull it back up, but one of y'all pull it back up once Charles talks, and then we can talk about it. We can talk about what Alonzo said too. We definitely.
That's my thing with it. It's not about taking the guns or not taking the guns. I'm saying that everything I hear about it, I mean, it's defense of us as a people.
Okay.
Where we're talking about collective mind states and everything.
Mm-hmm.
We're like we've had the opportunity is always there to defend ourselves, to defend our people, and everybody got guns.
Yeah, but good guns.
Where you going with that though? Where you going with
yeah,
that?
I'm saying I don't see where this arming myself for defense of myself, my people, and everything. I do not see where this is occurring.
You don't see where it's occurring.
No,
it's occurring. It's always been occurring.
Okay.
Why do you think somebody put up there a little while ago about?
I mean, like you're not. I guess you're not supposed to. If you're expecting to see people rushing out and in defense and shooting out like out their backyards or somebody climbing over their fence, like I mean, I guess that's not going to be the regular thing on the news. But if not, now you know what it is. Gun carrying is insurance policy. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's like. It's insurance policy for somebody to carry and be like, yo, if and when something happens, I got it. And that's what everybody who's fighting for gun rights and demanding they want.
We're not talking about the rights.
Well, but I mean, right?
Because I see gun use. Oh, don't get me wrong. I see gun use in America 100%. What I'm saying is a lot of the reasoning I hear, and especially in our community, I do not see gun use being used as in the way that a lot of us that are arguing for gun rights. So this ain't I got one issue with the Second Amendment thing. I'm talking about that's not what I see. Now somebody tell me they're not reporting everything, which is I'm used to hearing that. I know they don't report everything. So, I don't know what somebody wants to share about this, but like I just don't see, and maybe I'm just blind to the world. If somebody want to call me that, whatever.
No, but I mean,
I don't see that defense with it.
I know what he's talking about. He ain't saying it. He's being.
I know we think behind the scenes talk.
He's saying, "Oh, we don't see or people that have got the guns going out and busting."
No, this is what I see. This is what I see. This is what I see all the time. This is what I see all the time, Kev.
Yeah, but yo, but again, there have been distinct situations where it did happen, where it really did happen in real time. And I literally said a minute ago, You know what they did? They didn't even go in and shoot him. They sent a robot in there and they blew him up. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
In
So
college.
again, technology to your okay, but again, that's not it. That's not it. I'm telling you as somebody that used to come from a certain school of thought, that ain't gonna work. It doesn't mean that it's sometimes you're not gonna have to fight. That ain't gonna work. But that doesn't change the fact that you have a right.
I don't even agree.
You have a right. You have a right to bear arms. You have a right to defend yourself. You have a right to protect yourself. But let me say this. So you'll see how I'm looking at your point now. Everything as far as black people go, like we find a way to look at why we shouldn't be doing this shit. Man, we should be doing everything. Any just tax-paying citizen should be doing everything. Like for real. Like we I don't have a jaded view of people, let alone black people. I have a jaded view of evil people, corrupt people, and I can't stand racist people. I ain't talking about the little subdued races, talking about outward races. I ain't got nothing for them. Been saying it for 1,000 years. Because I want their people to understand there's a difference. So when white people meet me, they don't think, oh, I can't have a conversation with them. Nah, as long as you ain't getting down like that, we good. And if it turns out when you getting down like that, we just not good. It's just that simple. But at least I have convictions to certain things. At least I have some discipline when it comes to certain things. At least I already have an understanding that there's blueprints that are already laid out. So I can't inspire people. I don't have the voice of Malcolm or Martin and all of those stuff.
Do you agree with this statement?
I do. Huh?
Do you agree with this statement right here?
It's true. That's true. When the Second Amendment was written, what were we? So, but again, I think, and the reason I keep saying multitasking is because I don't want to say, let's stop being friggin' dumb, straight up. I don't want to say that. I want to say to people, like, find yourself in this spectrum, wherever it is, literally, and see where you can improve yourself. You can definitely improve yourself as far as the games that are played with law and legality. That's why when we be up here and we talk about law, I don't want to hear nothing about law and legality because that's what's used to damage people nine times out of 10, not to protect. It's to subjugate 9 times out of 10. It's to let officers shoot a man 60 times and lay him down, but they getting paid administrative leave. Where else in the world can you pull out a gun and just fire off and kill people without anything, and you're gonna get paid administratively? Man, get the hell out of here.
Probably in the same place where people could watch it happen every day, be armed to the teeth and don't shoot back.
You saying people as if the Butch Boys didn't exist. You saying people as if that officer from Texas didn't exist. You saying people as if every single one of those individuals that behind the scenes were getting ready to do something, they weren't infiltrated or given up by the same people that look like them. You can take it all the way back to Nat Turner. So let's not act like the spirit of that is not there, and not just in our community. Because what you're seeing when you see these little white boys go up on the roof on Independence Day, the irony of it, and he let go, that's his way of fighting. He know it ain't gonna kill me. And for somebody else, I'm nothing more but an inspiration. We know better than that, though. And it's not just because we know better than that, like we fearful. I keep saying it's not fear, but there is something we are fundamentally not doing, and that tribalism and that stuff that has been ingrained in us, it works perfectly. That's why when I'm having conversations, even when I agree with somebody, they want to argue. I'm like, well, where the hell is this world at where I'm agreeing with you and you still want to argue? Psychologically, we are damaged. We are completely damaged as a unit. Let me say it like that. And that's across the board. That's not just black people. Racism has messed a lot of us up.
Well, I think there's there's an emphasis with black people on that, right? I mean, there's a lot of that crabs in the barrel mentality that, I think that we're all aware of, that that stands across every area. Like, there's like, from from the basics of what like ownership of things and goods and services in your own neighborhood to like proximity crime and violence and shootings and stuff like that. I mean, it's I don't know, we say that it happens in every community. I mean, I think that I've seen that it's proportionally higher in the black community. I don't know if that's if that's city areas or whatever, but yeah, I mean that's some damage of not not even being able to do anything collectively. Not well, I don't want to say that in its entirety, but as a community, I would say it's fair to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, as a community, we don't do that as well as other communities. I think that's a fair thing to say.
That we don't
Like, you know,
we don't have a community collective.
yeah, community collective. I mean, across the board for anything, whether it's
why don't we have a community collective?
Oh, I mean, I'm agreeing with you because of because of the psychological, economical, sociological damage from
And every single time we hunker down, they do something to make us nomadic. And whoever that they is, that's the day. Whether it's gentrification or now rentification. I mean, they forcing people out through rent now. They're not even tearing stuff down. And I'm just saying, like, you can't have any political power, and you really can't even have any say when you're nomadic. When you're being forced to go into other places where you don't even know the culture or the mores of people who look like you.
Yo, you know something that's a real basic example that's no better example than this. I think a comedian said it before. I can't remember. I either saw a video of it somewhere of a comedian, but they talked about the joke had to do something to the effect of. I don't want to butcher it. It's not a funny joke or nothing like that. But they were talking about two black people in an office environment, like at work or something like that. Yo, and the sentiment is like, yo, when you see somebody say what's up, but you don't want to like congregate or interact with them too much so as not to give the appearance of something like, collective or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Did you ever hear some comedian say something about that? Like even black people in the office environment, like, oh, let me not assimilate with them too much because I don't want to look a certain way. And but that in of itself, you know what I'm talking about? Am I saying something?
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're
right. So that in of itself, like I think speaks to exactly what we're talking about in the lack of us being able to like form anything together. Yo, a crazy personal. I hate to. I be putting my personal. It doesn't matter. It's an old job or whatever. But a personal experience that I ran into that was actually pretty insane. That speaks to that same thing. So let me make sure I can tell us. Yes, it doesn't matter. So I worked for this company. It was actually in Connecticut years ago. Right. It was a healthcare related company and stuff like that. So they were going through a union organizing campaign, right? And I worked as administrative staff, and there was a lot of clinical staff that worked in this environment, right? So one of the jobs as an administrator or the company in itself, when there's a union campaign going on, one of the things is to meet with you can have certain sessions and meetings with the employees to explain to them what the company's position is on certain things, and then the union on the other side is discussing those things with people who potential union, what do you call them, joiners or members or whatever. So the crazy thing is, and so the funny thing is that the company was actually, so I was kind of in the middle of it a little bit, but my job was to have these conversations, and it was to give them honest information on certain things that the company was doing and had planned to do, because they can't change things in the middle of the union. So my job, like a lot of other administrative staff, was to meet with some employees and talk and answer questions for them and stuff like that. A crazy thing that happened with me. So a lot of there was, a lot of the staff that worked there, clinical staff, like in a lot of places, they're from the islands, they're African American. Certain people will come to me and ask questions, right? I was one of the few black administrators there. So after the union election occurred, the union won the vote, got into the company. Yo, I had gotten attacked, and my job was being placed at risk because some of the people that sat above me started having discussions amongst themselves that I was helping influence the employees to join the union and not go along with what the company, was putting out there. I literally heard it. So I had met with, and I know this to be true because I had met with some of my other coworkers, like long after we had gone out to eat, and they were like white, and they said, "You have no idea." This is personal. Well, it's a little personal, but it's not. It don't matter because it's years anyway. But they said, "You have no idea what these people were saying about you in relation to what went on there." And I was like, "What?" Like I had no idea what was going on with this. But it was. They strictly said it was other white administrators who were gunning at my job, trying to have me fired to say that I worked along with these people in order to help them unionize the company. How crazy is that? And that's just from me conversing with these people, doing what they had asked me to do. That's it.
Yeah, well,
I don't know what you have to
trust.
This is
I was looking at. I was listening to that, but I was looking at. I wanted to ask. I actually wanted to go back to this, and I wanted to ask brother right here a question for him to answer.
Yeah, that definitely get a comment in there.
He said that he believes that if New York had less restrictive the carry concealed, that kid wouldn't be alive today. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I mean that's debatable. Maybe somebody in the store would have had a gun and shot him. Who knows? Right? The one dude that did have a gun that tried to shot him actually got killed. But it is what it is, right? As far as with that, like who knows what had the gun? The question I want to ask is most of these type of shootings, if you look in different areas of the country, occur in areas where there are less restrictive gun laws than in New York. Actually, having this shooting in New York, it was kind of, not shocking because it could happen anywhere, but we tend to associate it that it happens in different other places and stuff like that. So my question would be, and when you seeing these shootings in like Texas,
he can hear you. I called him. He can answer your question in real time. Can you hear Big Zo?
Yeah, I got you.
Can y'all hear him?
You can hear me? Yeah. So
let me answer your question. Okay.
Can you hear me?
The security guard that was there, he was a retired police officer. He's only one man. Okay. Yeah. So typically in a store like that, to have proper security, you need to have more than one person. Now, I myself am a survivor of an active shooter situation.
Fort Hood.
So yeah, I was 14 and 32 of us got wounded. I got hit 7 times, but at that same scenario happened here in North Carolina. Trust and believe it would have been at least 3 to 4 people in the store at that time that would be able to take this assailant down in their officer's defense because the officer was only one man. And the thing about it is that New York has one of the states that has the most restrictive gun laws out of all of the upper 48. Yeah. Okay, so look at it this way. You can be stationed in Fort Drum, New York. You're in the military. You can't even have a concealed carry permit. You got to jump through all these hoops to have a concealed carry permit. Right now, I can go down the street to a Walmart or to a Food Line, and I'm going to walk across at least 4 to 5 Caucasians with an open carry weapon on their
hip,
carrying the baby, holster flopping around.
Right on their hip.
It's just for sure because they try to access the weapon. They're not going to get the weapon out the holster anyway. But me, myself, I'm a concealed carrier. Sometimes I open carry, sometimes I conceal carry because I'm always prepared for the unexpected. It all comes with training. Even when you go to the range, you look at some of the young guys that go in there and shoot at range, they shoot from angles like John Wick. It's not realistic. We don't even use that. That's for entertainment purposes. And then now you have people that carry body armor. I myself have body armor. So if you aim center mass, a lot of times you're not even gonna put the person down. So you have to aim at other points to disable the person, then get the weapon out of their hands. It's all about smart training. It's like basketball. If you want to be good at the sport,
True indeed. Okay, so now let me ask you this, right? But a lot of your training comes from the military, and first of all, let me say, like, I'm glad you survived that, my man. Definitely glad you survived that, and everything. So, but you're ex-military guy, so you come with training. I would argue that most people that own guns are not ex-military, even though there are a lot of ex-military. I agree that there are a lot of ex-military, but the Second Amendment applies to everyone, not just ex-military. What I'm saying is we've watched in this country a multitude of mass shootings, and we've watched them in states like how you saying in North Carolina, where people can have guns, multiple people can have guns, in the Georgias where they could walk around like that, in the Texas where they could walk around like that. And it's very rare, if ever, that you see that the assailant, especially if he's white, is even killed at all by anyone. And it's like you don't even see where somebody even attempted, forget the restrictiveness of just New York. It's like you don't even see where anybody even attempted to shoot any, and I'm talking about the Second Amendment gun holders, not the police, not anything like that. I'm talking about the civilians exercising their Second Amendment rights. In a lot of places where these shootings happens, like you just never see where these people, even in the least restrictive gun states like a Texas or Georgia, just ever shot back at these people. Like you just don't see it. Now, I know that there are people, not saying you, I know there's going to be people that tell me the news don't report everything. I get it. I understand that the news doesn't tell me everything, as I'm sure it doesn't tell a bunch of us everything. But it's like you just never hear it where these legal gun owners are firing back at these mass assailants when they're doing this.
That's not true. A woman just murdered a dude.
You know what you're going to give me? You're going to give me the one anecdotal story that I
I'm not
also
going to give you
know.
one anecdotal story. What you want to do? Hold up.
Give me a bunch of them.
Hear what I'm going to give you before you tell me.
Give me a bunch of them in relation to
Hear
how
what I'm
often
going
this
to give you.
happens.
Yo, bro, that's not how you play chess. You have to wait for the next man to make a move.
Okay.
You just topple through all the pieces and then say I won. That's not how it works.
Well, you're going to tell me about the girl. I know that story too.
You don't, but maybe the audience doesn't know.
Okay.
Maybe the audience doesn't know. But something he said and you overlooking it, man, and you just came out your mouth and said something that I didn't want to say, but you just said you'd be surprised how many things are not reported. Yeah, there's a reason why a lot of stuff is not reported. There's a reason.
So you think a lot of these gunmen are being shot at?
I got to think my thought.
I'm asking you.
Before you cut me off, I got to think my thought through. I don't even know anything else.
But I don't want you to make your thought to the point that you don't want to answer my question.
Hear me, bro. Hear me.
Okay.
And you can't even respond. I sat here and listened to you, and now I have a response to something that you said. But if you keep cutting in, I'm gonna be like, damn, what the hell was I trying to say? I don't know. He's telling me what I'm going to say.
That's my mediation point. Go ahead, Dev.
Yeah, but in a nutshell, I'm gonna first start with the young lady who killed the shooter. Yeah, she got the drop on him. He had the drop on what he was going to do. He got killed. To Lonzo's point, you said something, and I'm sitting up here like, nah, that ain't even it. There's a lot of people who are military and ex-military that carry. There's a whole bunch of people out here that have never had military training, but they on the range. The same way that you have a lot of different individuals who out there storing rice and water and all this other stuff. They're not military. Some of them, nothing personal, they probably would have been able to get into the military, but they're training nonetheless. And when we start talking about when I'm hearing you talk about what's happened to different shooters over time, maybe it's a conversation that we probably need to have on another level. But please understand something. This is a new occurrence with these young white people and these young white men in particular walking away and surviving in this manner. If they were surviving overall before, they might have got popped. They might have got ran up on. They might have got beat up. There was something else. Not saying they didn't live. There are plenty of examples of white people back from the 70s and 80s and 90s when they started really ramping up on these mass shootings. From the 60s out, from Kent State all the way out. But what I'm saying to you is this is something different. When you can go into a church and murder people the way that devil did and walk out, that's something different. get a burger. That's something different. This dude went to the top of a building, dressed as a woman, murdered some people, and got all the way to Wisconsin and was about to do it again. So ultimately, we understand that everything is skewed in a certain way. So now, as you would always say, Charles, what we gonna do about it, Charles? I'm telling you that running out in the street, busting your guns and trying to shoot, that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work. It doesn't mean that if somebody comes into your space or your environment, you do not want to be in a situation where if somebody kicked in, God forbid, kicked in your door, where you can't do something, even if it's just for a few minutes, to push the person back. You thinking the guns is like every time somebody shoots, it's just to kill. Sometimes
no, I'm not thinking that at all.
No, it is a kill, but
because kill.
Let me make this
but
point.
when you're talking about concealed carry outside of the house, is something different.
Bro, let me make the point, because I've been on the show 3 years with two.
But you just told me that I think something. Hold on. You told me don't tell you what you thinking, but you just telling me that.
Well, I'm sorry if I did that, but I'm gonna make this point. All right, so I apologize. Sometimes if somebody, God forbid, if there's a woman in a house, and this is all hypothetical, and she's by herself, and let's just say she has an assault rifle, she has a 44, or whatever she has, somebody kicks in the door, and she automatically lets off in that realm, in that area where that person is. That might be the difference between that individual getting in and being able to kill her, or being pushed back just enough where other people can be alerted to what the situation is. We have to get out of this pacifist mindset, like, yo, I don't need to carry no gun. As spiritual as I am, let me tell you something. I learned the hard way that I have to be able to protect myself and protect my family. I learned the hard way.
But nobody's saying, but it comes okay, go ahead.
It comes back to that.
No, because this is how far the point is. New York State, to his point, everything you saying about being in the house, having your gun, somebody try to break in your house, New York State clearly allows that. It's the concealed carry out in public that we're talking about. So everything you just said is totally legal in New York State. You can sit in your house with a gun and you can shoot the person coming in trying to rob you and everything. So that's not what I'm talking about at all. It's the part that got struck down in New York is that you couldn't carry the gun publicly. That's what they're beefing about.
I'm sorry. Let us know. Lonzo say what he's saying.
In the state of New York, can you go in a gun store and can you buy an M4, or can you buy the automatic 12-gauge shotgun that comes with a mag?
No, the quick answer is no.
A Glock with a 30-round mag that goes into it.
No, because you're not buying no handgun without a permit.
Yeah, I mean you know.
No, you're not. But what I'm saying is that you can buy a long-barreled shotgun and everything. You can have these things in New York. Even legal gun owners. The restrictiveness of New York is, first of all, the 5 barrels was a whole different monster, even if you are a legal gun holder in the rest of the state of New York. The issue, what I'm saying is, it's not about, because if you a legal gun owner in New York, and to Dev, what he was saying about defending your house, you can do that, but you still could have got in trouble for having your gun out in public. You understand that the whole restrictiveness of New York's law, the whole Supreme Court ruling was that New York was preventing people from carrying their guns publicly, not privately in your house to defend yourself. So I'm not saying you can't have a gun in your house to defend yourself. That wasn't the point I was making at all.
That's true. You did say that, but you did just say, I'm just questioning. You can only have a long gun. But like when he asked you about the M4,
no, because no, you're not buying no handgun walking into the thing in New York. No, not at all. But then now we're going down. I mean, but now we could go down to which specific weapons do you want to have versus not. You know, you just mentioned the crossbow. You know, that ain't a firearm in the form of a gun at all. So you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can have a baseball bat, a gun, a crossbow. You can have a multitude of weapons to attempt to defend yourself. So I'm not saying a person, like, that wasn't my argument at all, that a person shouldn't have a gun in their house or can't have a gun in their house to defend themselves. I didn't. I don't think that was the point I was making.
No, but
My point that I was making,
generally,
and then to his question, just like when I asked you, and you was saying about the girl who shot the dude, I heard that story too, and I heard it from a news media like you who ain't telling us everything.
no, I didn't hear from
But
the
what?
media. That's
Well,
the
we heard it from some sort of form of
Yeah.
media.
I
Wait, Z, why
but-
don't you address on what you were saying? Because I heard you say something as well. I don't know if it's in line with what you're going to say, but finish saying what your point was, because you said it wasn't the gun, the ability to have a gun on your household. Your point was. Oh wait, let's acknowledge too. I didn't know that about the labia thing. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, the lady.
I never even know about
God,
that.
God bless
Yeah.
your daughter's spirit. You know, that's
Yeah.
tragic. That is very tragic. I know Mike was going to ask you a question. I also know that Alonzo also had a question for Charles. And also, really quickly, we are not staying on long tonight, but I really do believe that we have to revisit this. And if we could get, maybe Seven, Alonzo, just some other people on here, if the labia, any of you that would want to be interested to come on here and just chop it up with us, and then we just have a roundtable discussion, I think it could be beneficial in a lot of ways. I really do, because I think this is a big part of it, the dialogue, whether we agree or disagree, the dialogue, but then having some action to follow. So,
You know what, fellas, I will admit to that. That is good, because I have another topic I'd like for you all to address in another one of you all segments. This is real good. Y'all ready for it?
what is it?
Yeah.
All right, so my daughter, she graduated from Florida A&M, so she calls me and I'm telling her about the 4th of July. She says, Daddy, why are you celebrating the 4th of July when during the 4th of July, 1776, we got independence? We were slaves.
Yeah.
And then she said, did you celebrate Juneteenth? I said, I did. So I sent her the pictures and everything. But a debate that my family, we're going to have on Friday, we're going to discuss the difference between celebrating 4th of July and Juneteenth and how it crossed boundaries. Because, like I always said, during that time frame, yes, blacks were slaves. However, there were some free black men during that time frame as well. And if you can remember, the state of Georgia was designed for the indentured servants that were not of color. Well, that's where they were supposed to go work, to work off their debt to come to the new world. So I think that's a topic of discussion we need to address as well, because there's a lot of questions out there about that.
You got to start some mess.
How old is your daughter, if you don't mind me asking?
You got to start some mess.
You know how
You
I
got to
am.
start some mess. Hey, Mike asked, how old is your daughter?
She is 24, and she's all in the politics like her father. And she said, well, Dad, I know you understand because she's in the military. No, it's not about that. Because at the end of the day, this is how I feel. I'm going to leave it alone. America is where I live, is where I was born. I'm not responsible for the ills that our country has done before I came into this world. I'm not responsible for some of the things that we have done that's messed up right now as me being in this world. But my job is to try to make it better. I've been to other countries, and it's not always good what you think it is. So, I understand Marcus Garvey wants to go back to Africa. You see how that turned out. You see what the people did to have the Africans to go against each other. So it's a little bit deeper than what one would think. But again, I think that social media is a guilty culprit with a lot of that. So it's kind of like Pavlov's theory of conditioning, if you think about it. Like I put a post in our discussion earlier about Donald Trump using Jim Jones format of poisoning people's minds. The people are uneducated and walking around with their eyes wide shut. Then they'll believe anything that you tell them. It sounds good. Because, Dave, you and I both know, we see some of these people riding around these raggedy trucks living in a trailer with these big old signs and flags that I support Trump. What the hell did Trump do for you when he was in office? You in the same spot, if not worse than what you was before he came in office. I will leave that alone. because I know y'all don't want to be on here a long time. But that's
Yeah, no, one quick thing I want to say that probably is a good topic, and I think it would actually be an interesting mix because I know Charles has brought up amongst us, like not online, but a lot of his viewpoints and what goes on in the U.S. versus internationally, right? And just the comparisons of U.S. culture and international culture. And it's probably a good mix to kind of blend those two. I don't know, Charles, you may not agree with that. What else was I gonna say? Shoot, I lost my train of thought, man.
I wanted to ask. Yeah, he said that. Man, what's his name? Which one is it? He said he's in the state of Washington.
7.
7. Yeah. What part of Washington are you in?
Who is that?
7 on the Panther.
Yeah.
He's in Washington State.
No, yeah. I wanted to know what part of Washington he was in.
It's in Seattle. I mean, I think he's in the Seattle area. I think he's in the Seattle area. Yo, Seb, I'm with Charles is asking, like, where are you in Washington?
Oh, he's in Tacoma. Oh, okay.
Tacoma. Okay, I got it, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually got so because when he was saying the threats outside, I wanted to see like what his experience is out there. I got family that live in Tacoma, and I've been to Washington a few times. My daughter actually used to live out there and everything. Okay. So I was like, I just was wondering what I was gonna ask him, like, in his viewpoint, since he lives out there, like what because he made the comment most of his threats are outside. Like what did you mean by that? Like what is your experience that you're seeing out there?
I don't know. You can ask him that. Zoe, can we get you on that show? We've seen response from Valavia, we've seen Seb, a few other people. I want to say something real quick before, because I know we got to go. Seriously, we are literally in a 5-minute wind down, and we will revisit hopefully both topics and the gun topic. But I want to say this about Big Zoe. When I got to St. Aug, he'll tell you, like, I was debating everybody and their mother. Like, it didn't matter if it was the pastors, it didn't matter if it was the professors, the speakers. We had some heavy debates, but this guy right here used to give the whole dorm hell because he was just, Charles, he's you, but he ain't you. Like, how tall are you, Zoe? 6'9"?
6'9.5".
Yeah, 6'9.5". Yo, physically, he's imposing, but when you talk to him, you're talking to the professor.
What you carrying a weapon for, man? A weapon?
Yo, but I'm gonna tell you something. As much as we used to debate, when we got ready to go to the Million Man March, I was second guessing it because I started worrying that some of the students that we were organizing to bring up there, I was like, yo, like, what if we get up there and they shoot at us or they kill us or whatever? And Big Zoe was like, first off, you gotta go. Secondly, just go with the spirit of pretty much of who you are. Don't worry about all that other stuff. Just get on the bus and go. So we organized. We took like 3 or 4 buses up there from St. Augustine Shore, and we went, and it was an amazing experience. But I say that to say this: he's a very balanced individual, but sparring with him, it really made me sharp back then when I thought I knew something. I know I don't know nothing now, but back then I thought I knew something. So I think he'd be a great addition, and I'm definitely glad he survived because if I'm not mistaken, you were the first person that he shot at Fort Hood, right?
No, I wasn't the first.
Oh, you wasn't the first. Okay.
No.
Okay.
I was in the front when it started.
Okay.
I got hit in 3 different iterations, a total of 7 times. To the head and 6 to the body.
Yeah.
Lucky to be alive, my man. Like I said, that's a blessing in and of itself, man.
Oh yeah, one more time to go home here, Charles.
Yeah, definitely. You know,
If anybody's interested in coming on that show, that's our email down there, Real Talk Live. Some of you I'll be reaching out to, or Charles or Mike will be reaching out to. And for DeLabia, any of the individuals that would like to come on, I think it's a discussion we need to have. You know,
let's make that the next.
You know, let's make that happen for like hopefully next week. You know, who's flying out next week? Somebody going. Charles,
I'm leaving tomorrow, man. I'm leaving out tomorrow, but I'll be back.
Next week, will you be okay?
Now I'll be here next week.
Mike, you on for next week?
Yeah, I'll be here next week. Yeah.
So by then we'll reach out to everybody and see who can join us, and then we'll have this conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
One thing, my son, I know he'll want to be on this one. My son just graduated from, he's a college student at Fayetteville State. He's graduated from AIT. He's an Intel analyst.
Okay.
He has a lot to bring to the table. I think all three of you guys would be interested in it and see what he got to say.
Yeah, that'll be cool, definitely.
Let's make it happen. Everybody that's in this thread that said that you want to join us, we're going to reach out, and that's the email. And let's have the talk, you know? Let's have the talk. We got to go, everybody. We only got like one more minute because
next Wednesday.
Next
Wednesday.
We're going to continue this.
8 let's say 8:30.
We're going to say 8. No, we're going to be on time. We're going to 8:30. We're going to be on 8:30.
9 o'clock.
8:30, man. No, 8:30, man. 8:30. 8:30. Come on.
The people are up. I'm just messing. Don't listen to me.
8:30, man.
Listen, I'm signing us off. Let's make it happen. Peace.
All right.
Yo, Zoe, they got to go, but I just thank Zoe for us, man. For he's gonna be on.
Yeah. Oh, you gonna come next time?
Yeah, you gonna bring your son too, right?
Yeah. Nah, that'll definitely, that'll definitely be good, man.
Yeah, we ain't ended the broadcast, man.
We didn't. Oh, bye.